No, your state is cashing in on.
Right. Well, it's something that was passed by referendum, and it is something that we have tried to implement responsibly, and we're aware of all viewpoints, and certainly we want to be responsible about it. A demographic survey conducted late last fall showed that of those that play online games, almost 25% don't play weekly. About 24% report spending $1 or less per week. 14% spend about $2 a week. 11.4% spent between $2.01 and $4. 16.1% reported spending $4.01 to $6 per week.
Those are a lot of numbers that are sort of flying through without a graphic. I think you start losing people.
Well,
but would you say the majority of the people aren't spending like all of their money? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, the bottom line is that when it comes down to amount played, the survey shows folks are heeding the play responsibly message that we do have. And the typical Hoosier lottery player is much like the typical Hoosier, a Caucasian male between the ages of 30 and 44, high school graduate or with some college education, and household income of between $20,000 and $50,000. And folks with higher income levels are included, and they do buy tickets if they want to. It's completely voluntary.
All right.
It's not completely voluntary. There are people who are hooked on this, and if you contact the
But what percentage of those who play lottery games go to the 7-Eleven and buy a ticket? I mean, I can see casino gambling or something, but what percentage? Do we know what percentage of lottery tickets are hooked?
We know that between 2 and 3%, and actually some studies are higher, of the public have become pathological gamblers in the last few years. The gambling interests' own numbers show that at least 1.5 million new pathological gamblers were created between 1994 and 1997. Now that is an enormous cost.
But again,
actually,
you don't have a breakdown in terms of what the lottery players would be.
Sociologists call the lottery the marijuana, the gateway drug of getting people into the addiction.
Before we go, because we're almost out of time, I want you to explain what you brought with you today. You brought these games.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were going to have a lady on here who has challenges because children have been buying lottery tickets in grocery stores and elsewhere, even though it's illegal. One sting here in Illinois, I believe, 19 times the underage children, 19 out of 20 times, were allowed to buy lottery tickets illegally from clerks in stores. And these are toys which are being manufactured by casino interest oriented companies, which are designed to bring on the next generation. So something I could find at a local toy store to give a kid for Christmas or a birthday. Right, this is the next generation.
It's basically a slot machine.
And basically, they call them banks.
They call them banks.
They call them banks, and the kids sometimes can actually play them in the stores, and this is a way of getting the next generation into this. We're already seeing, according to a Harvard study, that twice the number of kids and adolescents are pathological gamblers as the adult generation. This is the first generation to be raised to believe that this is a way of life.
Okay.
But it's philosophically and fiscally opposed to education. Why get education? Get rich quick. We have kids coming in and courses being taught saying that gambling is a good way of life. You can make a living at gambling. And most of these people who are buying these lottery tickets are not recreational gamblers. They're buying it to win money. And I think we all know that, and the studies show that. At least 65% of the dollars are by people who are gambling as economic problem gamblers.
Okay.
And that's way too much. That's a negative impact on society.
Okay, well, I do have to wrap things up. Diana, I want to thank you for joining us from Indiana. John Kindt, the same to you. And Alan Sanderson, before we go here, any other little piece of trivia you had up your sleeve on this whole buying the ticket and if you won?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I suppose if you really were optimistic, you could go out and buy another 30,000 Powerball tickets every morning for the next 20 years.
And lose all the money, right?
Not again.
All right. You get hit by lightning instead. All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Monica.